Legsman. Heroes make for the best stories. It's up to you if you want to be one. Let's see. Still feel dizzy? That means you're still alive. Stomping time. It's becoming terminal. going down. The thing was already dangerous, but now... smirked. Darkness makes you miss the light. That's a jumbo puff with an appetite. Ain't no fuss. Better put an end to it before it ends our world. The jumbo puff is kicking it up a notch. It's time for an electric performance. A couple of more hits and it's a fried circuit board. this. It goes all the way down. Start like a snack, and you'll end up with a ride down the intestinal canal. That's too close to the end station. Better move up. Look at you, all pooped out. From this point on, there's no way forward but going back in. That's too close to the end station. Better move up and away, or be swept out the bowel way. Wow, better pumped out than flushed down. Don't let it happen again. You see, it's what's on the inside that counts. That meaty torus is already off beat. And the torus is pumping at half a beat. You know what to do. Guessed it would go down with a throw-up. Can it really get any better than that? He thanks you for dealing with the first World Eater. It's a start. You should go see Out of Date and find out what you can about the machine he's named the Ark. You're good-hearted enough, so you'll bring him to share the information with you. He trusts you know where to find Out of Date by now. He's always been at the foot of the tree, and that hasn't changed. Gizmo will always make time for you. Understands completely. Go on, catch it. You can make so many amazing things out of wood scrap. For some, the night brings terror. Welcome to Camp Aco. The bandits here won't greet you so kindly. You're still aboard your mount, which is probably a good sign. That's a proper junk depot. Just think of the things chucked away. History is nothing but a series of stories. That's just awful. Watch your step around here. Supposedly mounts like that can smell fear. You found Boulder Broke. Toxanol used this place to make big rocks into small ones. They just ground everything down. This is called Suburbia, a place to get away from the city stink. Feeling fierce, swoon, tapped hard. There's a serenity about this spot. It's a place for rest and recovery. Be gentle, this mount's a breather. There it is, the Tree of Life. The idea that all life is related by common descent, where the twigs are existing species and those produced. The tree's great branches were once budding twigs, a connection between the past, present, and future, a representation of all extinct and living species with its ever-branching and beautiful ramifications. We are an evolution of those that came before. Ooh, there's some rubber scrap for you. You can make something from that. It's a game of life, yours and everyone else's. Let's see. It's a place well hidden. It's just below the above. Out of Date's impressed you made it this far, but there's still so much left to do. The end of the world is still on everyone's minds. You've beaten a path where you have the power to destroy or save everyone. Question is, what you'll do. Responsibility. He can sense that your heart beats steadily and acknowledges that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Thinks it's important that you remember who you are and where you came from. Someone without knowledge of their history and origin is like a tree without roots. What do you think his are? He's the one that's called Out of Date, remember? Out of Date says there's a time for everything. Think of the present, because that's where you are. It's time to set your priorities as the one who completes things. Follow you. If the world really does end, there won't be anywhere to run. So he's prepared for the worst, something he calls the Ark. He hopes you're right. He gets that you mean the journey continues either way, but personally he wants the tree to survive. Out of Date says there's no clear record of the chain of events that changed the course of history and brought the world to its knees. He's found evidence on the Ark, records of a crisis, decades of contamination that permeated the ground and broke its inner core. The contamination disrupted what we now know as Ki energy, the life force that runs through all things, living and inanimate. His light affected everything at a genetic level and turned our perception of normality on its head. It was only those that changed that of The Ark predates the back-in days, and now, after years of study of the manuals he found inside, he believes he's figured the ship out. The Ark has room for 4 more, and he trusts you'll apply end. He'll keep the seats open, and you are free to invite up to 4 others to join you in the Ark, in the event of a cataclysm. Out of Date says that from what he's heard, you've been busy. He says he appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's got urgent news from his friend Goop in the southeast. Out of Date says that even though he's unsure about your intentions, he hopes you'll support Goop. He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Goop and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That's the sound of impending doom. Out of Date's premonitions of imminent disaster are true. The Porkypuff needs to be handled. Out of Date says that Goop is worried now that the Southeast World Eater is stepping up its activity. He explains that Goop is working on a goo-gliding vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done. Out of Date suggests that you should head southeast as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He wonders what's on your mind. Wouldn't be surprised if you met again. Grab tight and don't let go. Let's see. You're still aboard your mount, which is probably a good sign. There's a serenity about this spot. There's Subnautica Station. Goop flounders around in there. You're here for a reason. It's up to you to figure out what that is. Gulpo ain't the easiest tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Goop. You might remember him from the old days when he tried to teach you how to swim. Goop says you were always so righteous as a child, and he can still feel it, even at a distance. Goop says memories fade surprisingly fast. We are all pieces of what we remember. It's only together we can remember the story as it was. He knows he's easy to remember. There's no one out there as cuckoo as him. He's one of a kind. Goop says our memory keeps things for us and protects them until we are ready to face them again. He understands you've returned to face Lupa Lupin. That's the destiny you've been carrying years. He says that the catastrophe back then didn't vanquish the good in you. It's still there, as bright as when you were a child. Now the time has come for you to remember and act. Your life is your life, not the story you're told about it. He thinks that's the right thing to do. It's only when you have forgiven that you'll find peace.
Light instantly vanishes dark.
How much light do you really need?
All the light, all of it!
I mean, you could leave a little space for the dark.
All the light.
Says life on the goo is wide open. You have so many choices of where to go. Hit the open surf then. The trouble is you can only rely on yourself, at least until you reach a new shore and make new friends. Can hardly believe the world is going to make it. Wonders what that's going to do to the goo. Thanks you for doing everything you could. Thinks the Myriad made a good match with you. You're both like sunshine on the surf. Never seen any brighter. Shine on. But hey, back to the goo. Knows yesterday is already gone. It's what you do today and tomorrow that'll move you forward. You need to set the past aside, at least for now. He can't leave the Subnautica station as the pollution has worn down the insulation of his suit. so you must salvage enough scrap to fix up his goo glide, starting with the old wreck box outside. You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the goo glide strong enough to fight the Porky Puff. You're lucky that way. There's still cargo left on the shores from before the apocalypse. His best guess is a power tanker hit a reef and went under. Let's see. Is something sinister hiding among the trees? Just a few moves left. Make them count. You can do this. The light you see at night is brighter than you think. Just a few moves left. Make them count. can't really understand your story till it's done. Better days. Took care of it. Too bad there's no boat floating by with this rain. Toxanol's offshore drilling caused oily matter to spread with the rain, and the effect this had on the evolution of wildlife was, as we know now, the only reason we came to exist. You need to line up the switches so they match. He's got the Googlide functional. You'll have a pull hook and a salvage net, but no armor, and an engine strong enough to break through the thick goo further out. There are lots of valuables left behind on the surf floor that the salvage net will enable you to haul. You just need to find the right spots. Goop says Gizmo's devised a cannon for the goo glide, but instead of bullets, it flips quacks, squeaky distractions for the triple attentive porky puff, which will give you time to get yourself in position. The best way to find quacks is to talk to Gulp. He has the bearings of the Surfipelago and knows where the quacks. This means you'll have the privilege of visiting Gulp in the Sinky Dink. He'll be able to give you directions to where you'll find quacks. That's where he bobs. Gulp refuses to move from that barge, despite the fact it makes him berth. Goop's not sure, though, if it's the surf sickness or the radium syrup that causes it. Beats floating on a wheel tube. Welcome to the Surfipelago, where the horizon rests on the surfy goo. You're poking around Pockbur, a prime village. This here is the Sinky Dink, home of Gulp, at the very least. Let's see. He's pretty sure he's heard of you before, although the details are maybe a little hazy. He wonders if you have something for him to drink. Points out that he's hungry too, but always thirsty for more. Says you look like you've got a powerful thirst to do something in this world. Good, bad, not really sure, but it seems like you've been drinking in your destiny and liking the flavor. Wonders if you could take the time to help a man slake his own thirst. You'd be doing him a liquid solid. You're a do-gooder, so you know you want to. Either way, he hopes you find a way to wet your whistle before the world comes to an awful dry end and leaves us all thirsting for more. Says life's like a mystery drink. Sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes it's awful. But either way, you can't stop drinking till you're dead. Sure, that's the point. But you can't stop trying new ones, or life gets dull. Wants to raise a glass to you getting the world fixed up a bit. Respects how you always try to help, no matter that the world's fate is hard to swallow. Sees why you joined up with the Myriad. They like a peaceful drink, just like you. Says he sells them drinks. They mostly suck them down on their own. But who cares about them? Says you'd be as bummed out as him if you came for the hot stuff. The Glugmocker, Nimhimbibble, and his favourite radium syrup. That one's even more intoxicating now, aged in truck tankers and all. Without a drink, and radium syrup especially, he can't move, much less think, as the power of his mind is directly proportional to the quantity of syrup he swigs. That's why he's called Gulp. The drink helps him forget the state the world is in, but it only lasts until tomorrow. The world is still doomed, even if the sun goes up. Says that's what gives your internals such a great glow. He wants you to know he has other interests too. He's the SURFIPELAGO's self-proclaimed ornithologist, for example. There are other ways than a cold drink to relieve stress, even in these dark times, and, fortunately for you, he can help. Watching Pippi's flap is calming, but better yet are the ones you can look at and touch, like quacks. Squeezing them is a great way to relax. They're better at floating than flapping, so you should be able to net a few without growing yourself a pair of wings. Amazed you haven't met Nocco. She's the best. So kind to critters of all sorts. Hopes to see you again soon. Keep your head on a swivel. The Quack Hollow. It's just lonely. You have a chance to change the future for good or bad. Nothing's simple. It's locked. Wonder what you could make with that. This story is as powerful as you'll let it be. Sharp as your wit. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Heroes make for the best stories. It's up to you if you want to be one. You need to believe how serious this is if you want to have any effect on it. That's enough quacks to sustain the Googlide flipper with infinite ammunition. Goop says he was there when the porky... After that, Out-of-Date started using his head instead of his legs and came up with the plan on how to best make a stand against the World Eaters, and it wasn't by foot. That's how he got tasked with rebuilding the Googlide. He seems happy to talk. Says you'll see each other later. Smart play there. Vroom vroom!